This is our 2006 Dodge Sprinter Pleasureway motorhome. It's a Class B. We bought it new. It's 12, 13 years old. We put 115,000 miles on it. And through the course of the last 12 years, we've made it work for us. These Class B motorhomes are very small and they lack a lot of amenities. One of them, of course, is space. And I want to show you several things that we did to ours to make it work better for us, make it a little more convenient. Starting here in the back, I made two boxes that off the hitch attached to the bumper. The one on the left holds the electrical power cable, which I can get out very quickly, and one on the right I have all the fireplace accessories, iron skillet, mountain pie iron, grills, and things like that. Also, I modified a bike rack. I did a little offset it to the left. I fabricated it. I have a machine shop, so I was able to weld it onto a hitch and offset it a little bit to the left. And the reason I did that was so that I could open this door. Also here in the back I have two lawn chairs. I took a cargo bag and modified it, and there's two lawn chairs in there. I made a bracket assembly, and let me show that to you. If I remove this, show you what I did. Took stainless rod and I just drilled and tapped one hole into the hinge bracket there and anchored it to the top. Give me a support post, and then look at the bottom. I have these L brackets that swing out of the way, so if I want to get into my box, my black bumper box, I can. They both swing out of the way, and I have some wire ties there that I slide over them if I'm not carrying my chairs. I mounted the chair rack, made it in such a way that I could use existing holes and I didn't have to drill any holes in the back door or anything. In fact, this is a piece of dowel and it's just sitting there. On the pocket where I could store some things, I have some oil and transmission fluid and things. Let me lower my bike rack. It's on a hinge pin so that I can open the other door. And this originally in the back had a bench that had an electric motor on it that went down into a bed. Wasn't very comfortable, wasn't very efficient, so I made a platform. I actually raised it up higher than it originally was, so there's a lot more storage space underneath. In fact, this here comes out. It's just a post support to ensure that I don't have too far of a span for the weight load. And I got a table under here, 2 foot by 4 foot table, and as you can see, there's plenty of space under there. Inside, we'll go inside a little bit later, show you the shelves that I added over the years and a lot of accessories. But first of all, let's finish looking outside here. One of the most frustrating things I had with this when I bought it was the sewage hose. This is supposed to be in here, and this is only adequate for some tools for the grill. I mean, it's absolutely very short, just maybe 2 foot long. So I had to come up with something, some place to put the sewage hose, and show you what I come up with. This is the access door here to the drains, and I fabricated a trough, and I have this little swinging little aluminum plate, and in here I have a full length sewage hose, and then I keep my flange hooked on here. Also drilled some holes in these handles on these valves, and I have a bungee wrapped around there because I really don't trust them. One more thing I can show you that I did, the place where I found some space. I'm gonna try to lay underneath here. Spare tire underneath here is right there, and inside it you see the red containers. I have 2 1-gallon cans of diesel fuel in case I ran out. I used them twice actually. Before we go inside, there's some things I want to show you right inside the side door here. Down in the bottom there's a pocket that I put wooden blocks as my ramps to level out the motorhome. I have several of them in here stored. Also have a shoe bag on the back of the door that you can put shoes in. And there's just enough space between, when the door is closed, between the shoe bag and this screen door that I made. This area was all open all the way up and across over into here, and it was very hard to come up with a plan for that. And one of the last things I did was make this screen door about 2 years ago. I'm really glad I did because I really like it. It's so much nicer to have a screen there. It was a challenge. I had some leftover cherry wood from a woodworking project years ago, and first thing I did was create these door jambs to match the original cherry cabinets, and that in combination with some aluminum flat bar, some screen, you can get it, screen frames and screen, and had some cedar wood I resawed thin, had some aluminum channel, a lot of this smaller pieces, hardware net, knobs. The aluminum channel is available at a place called McMaster Car. They're a very good source for a lot of things. An extra challenge was trying to come up with something up top to seal off the top when the door closed. And right here I put a brush, so that if I hit my head on it, it's just a brush. And that was curved, so it's kind of tricky, but to come up with something. As you can see, this screen door isn't super strong and heavy duty, but it's adequate, and it's been on here a couple of years and has worked quite well. So alright, so let's go on inside. Let's go up front. I built a shelf above the cab, and I took some aluminum and I bent it. This is another piece of material from McMaster Car. It's a vinyl edging, but you can get that at other places too. Fits over the edge and trims it off, finishes it off somewhat. So, anyhow, that shelf is very handy. Let me show you how I made that. Just briefly, my goal isn't to tell you how to make something, it's just generate some ideas and that it can be. First thing I did was try to find some places where I could anchor to existing screws, and under the sun visor here I made these thin aluminum brackets that I bent, and did that on both sides. I had to do a cutout here for the pressure gauge up there and the light, and then the back end that took care of a front support. As you can see, it's pretty fairly sturdy. In the back, I just hooked into these typical clothes hanging hooks that are available in most cars and cabs, and that turned that into an L bracket and went up and supported the back end. Put on the inside in the back, I don't know if I can focus to show you, I added a piece of aluminum angle to support it, and then I put a shelf for books, GPS mounting fixture nest that I had to make this twice actually. My GPS, original GPS, I got a new one, and the new one is a lot bigger, so I had to make another one. And also, let's see if I can spin this around and show you. Up here, I put it behind my seat. I made a box for maps, and a shelf up here that have some odds and ends in. Got a set of binoculars in there, and actually I store the hardware for the dinette set that I made for the cab, which I'll show you briefly. And then let's go into the bathroom. The bathroom is very small. It's a wet shower. What that means is you go in here and take a shower, the toilet, the sink, everything is part of the shower stall. Now that's all fine and good if it's... The problem with this one was if you come in here and want to take a shower while the water's running, it's going to run down in to these drawers and in behind this cupboard. And what are you going to do with the toilet paper roll? Well, my wife came up with a really good plan. She put Velcro across here and across the bottom of the lip on the countertop, and she took shower curtains and she put Velcro on the shower curtains and cut them off just the right length. And when we set this up, which I will do here with one hand, and you go in, close the door, and close this curtain, you can take a shower without any problem. So that worked out quite well. And then it's just a matter of, after we take a shower, we got to wipe it out. We have a carpet that we put in there on the floor. It's very nice. Works well. I don't know what they were thinking when they designed this. Designed this cupboard like this. I guess you could go in there and take a sponge bath, but beyond that, I made a bracket to mount a cup, and then in the medicine cabinet I put an extra shelf here, hold some more things, put a bungee across here to keep things standing up nice. I made two shelves, one out of a little piece of 1/8 by 2 aluminum. I cut it, and on the one shelf we have floss sticks. On the other one we have toothpaste, so we can keep that out. So the bathrooms works well for us. Moving on, I'll show you some things here in the back. We found a Denver mattress makes a short queen size mattress, so that worked well here. It fit into space we had, plus I was able to build this box. We call it a foot locker. It holds a lot of stuff. Got a lot of extras in it. And, then above that, I built a shelf. You can see I used a lot of aluminum because I have the equipment to bend it. And then there's a shelf on the other side also with a bar. The bar helps us get in and out of bed a little easier. Plus it's a place to hang some things that I want to hang, need to be dried. And I made a coffee pot shelf that comes out on a track, so it's easy to make coffee. Inside the front door, there's a couple things I want to show you. In the door wells, there's plenty of space to build some boxes where we store hiking shoes and trekking poles and whatever. And then here's the dinette table that I made. The original one was in the back, and you had to set up the bed into the bench seat, and it was not very convenient. It wasn't real stable either, so it wasn't something we wanted to do. We wanted to have a bed that's always made and didn't want to have to deal with it. So I come up with a table here because, you know, the concept is the seats are here, so why not have a table? If I can come up with a table up front, there we got our dinette, and it worked out. It was really tricky. It's not the strongest thing in the world, but it's adequate. It's 32 inches round, and as you can see, supporting it in places that are questionable, but it's we've been using it for years. It works okay. So the main support for the table is this right here. It's made out of a combination of aluminum and Delrin. I'm sure there's other ways it could be made, but first is the lower white block that is Delrin. It's made to fit into there nice and neat, secure. Gives it a support and establishes the plane where the table will be. And then this here is kind of a secondary support, but it was pretty desperately needed. It was a little tricky to come up with too. It sets in there, and on the bottom of the table there's a round aluminum button here that goes in that hole, and then there's another button over there where this piece here goes. It goes into this hole here, and then there's just a couple Delrin support pieces that I made that fit over. They fit over the lip of the table, and they actually bump up against the dash at some point. Just give it a little stability, and that's about it.